And if they don't like it, you shut up, you. Whoever you are listening and watching, if you didn't like it, don't tell a damn soul.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Bloomberg, writing for Movie Scene in Sweden.
Oh, hi.
Hello.
How's it going out there?
Sweet.
Hi, Jonathan.
Hello.
Hello. Are you in Stockholm?
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Hi.
JB, how you doing?
I'm doing great, especially now when I get to speak with the two of you, of course.
Thanks very much.
Yeah. So first of all, Paul, I must say you made me hate you last year in Blackbird. That was a compliment.
I'm glad you said Blackbird. I thought you were going to point out the fact that I didn't show up to your wedding.
Yeah, and that too.
That's
Yeah.
on
It's a great party.
that's
there.
on me.
I was there on the dance floor.
Blackbird was
Yeah.
fun. Apple keeps employing me. I'm very grateful. They make cool stuff, and it's cool to get to do a show like this and work with comedic brilliance and take a step away from the drama stuff.
All the puzzles that you kind of develop, not only on the show but also for viewers to do, like on the internet and stuff like that. So how many of them are you expecting people to find, and are there some that you think, well, this might never be found, but we'll know it's there? And
Well, I mean, the first season, the people on Reddit found them so quickly.
And I thought many of those would never be found,
Right.
but they were found
Found
immediately,
immediately.
so
Yes.
quickly. It was
Within like a half hour of the show dropping, people were like, found it, here's the solution. And you're like, wow, these people are incredible. So we have some that are sort of as easy as the first season, but we have a bunch more that are much more complicated. So we'll see. We'll see. But I have a feeling that people get the challenge of it is exciting for some people, and a certain type of person is going to be able to find most of the things.
there's one this season that is, I think, easy to solve, but I don't think people are going to know that it is there. So I'm very curious. To
Interesting.
I don't
challenge accepted.
I've
Reddit.
noticed none of that.
Really?
Like I know they're there, and I don't even see them.
And there are more puzzles this season.
Yeah, we have
too.
twice as many puzzles this season as we did last season, hidden into the show.
I mean, I think personally, as like an actor, it just is a dream. Like I never thought it was a dream I could have, actually, that I could like be cosplaying in a Jane Austen drama. I think it's just like when you are a young, like, person of color performer, like maybe it's different now. Like I have a 14-year-old sister, and I think what she thinks is possible is way more than what I thought was possible when I was like growing up Chinese, like a young Midwestern kid in Minnesota. Like I don't know. I just like I realized dreams I didn't even know I had, which included
Yeah.
like being in a full period wig and like 18th century gowns and doing this, Jane Austen drama. So that was really special, I think, just for me personally.
I just wanted to know how you kind of landed on what kind of genres you wanted to cover. I really love the Wes Anderson one, for example, and well, I love them all, but that one stuck out the most for me.
It starts with trying to figure out what mystery we want to tell, what the method of killing was, and how we're going to cover it up, and then figuring out what the character set would be in that situation. And then once you've got a sense of which characters could have interesting interactions and emotional storylines with each other, then we would say, like, okay, what genre would this person tell their story as? And sometimes something comes quickly and easily and naturally, like Anna's episode that seemed to fit her personality of like quirky and twee.
And Hannah, I think, is kind of perfect for Wes Anderson because she's sort of awkward and
there's both
in her own world. And,
there's both a lot of emotion with Hannah and a lot of sensitivity once you get down to her core, and passion, and just wanting to be seen and loved at the end of the day, but behind a wall of weird.
But sometimes once you land on what the genre for that character is, you end up having to sort of change the character to fit that genre a little bit more. And so it was a bit of a chicken and egg process of working out the characters and the genres that fit them and the way that they see themselves in the world.
I was so on board because it was Hitchcock. I just thought, okay, great. Because I've been a huge fan of Alfred Hitchcock my whole life. I mean, I grew up watching Alfred Hitchcock movies.
Who hasn't?
In the 60s, so it was perfect. And I loved the idea of Isabel specifically being in Hitchcock, because her whole vibe is like, I don't know where I am or what I'm doing. And she may or may not be on drugs, and we know she drinks too much. So that whole sort of dizzying kind of like psycho
Paranoia.
There's a killer loose. We don't know what's going on. Somebody is manipulating me. It just was perfect for Isabel.
And you were so good. You just dropped
Thank
right
you.
in. And the first day that we were filming was Hitchcock in her episode.
I even heard that you broke some furniture jumping around.
Yeah, I forget how that came about, but I just kept adding pratfalls where they were not scripted. And I think Chris was probably internally at least rolling his eyes like, oh man, this guy. But there was like a deck chair or like a lounge chair that was made of wood. And I said, how many of these do we have? I would love to like Chris Farley this thing and break through it.
And so you did.
It sounds like it. I haven't seen the show. It sounds like it made the cut. So I'm really happy it's in the show. That's cool.
Paul and I are also both big wrestling fans. So there is part of our brain that whenever we see a table, like a little bit of us wants to either put someone through it or go through it ourselves. Or if you see a chair, it's just there is that you can't shut off that part of your brain that wants you to whack it over someone's back.
Yeah, someone tells me this is furniture, and I'm like, no, it's a weapon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Jack, I heard Robert Pattinson was up for the part, but you completely outdone him took it away from him, right?
Let's stick with that narrative.
That's the rumor we're starting. Yeah, but your I liked your episode, kind of the Ocean's 11 kind of feel to your character. So could you talk a bit about how it was playing him as well?
Yeah, no, it was great to do a heist episode, and very keen to get that episode sent to my agent as well, and he can fire it off to some directors, and then I can get in a Steven Soderbergh movie. That's why we did it, basically. This whole job was just a great thing for our show reel.
I also wanted to talk a bit about Zach and his performance as well, the one getting killed over and over again.
The part he was born to play, a dead person.
Yeah. So how did you land on him, and what did he bring to his part? Because it's a very particular part he's playing.
Yeah, we thought of him very early on because we wanted to make sure that the victim felt different from this first season, which was Dave Franco's rock star character. We wanted somebody who felt more internal and shy and odd, and Anthony, you worked with Zach before, and so you knew him really well, and so it was really simple to just sort of ask him if he wanted to do it.
And I think in the first season, Xavier, when you meet him, you're like, oh, this guy is awful, and then you kind of get to know more about him and you empathize with him more. And in this season, I think it somewhat goes the opposite, where when you meet him, you're like, oh, what a sweet, weird man. And then by the end of the season, you're like, this guy might have been a sociopath. So it's a really fun arc that I think Zach carries across the line. And
He's also so funny.
Yes,
he really is. He's so talented. One of the funniest and quickest and smartest performers I think we've ever worked with. Just the way that he can, he stays in character, but adds things at every step of the way that are helpful and constructive and hilarious. Is
always so disarmed around him.
Oh yeah, he's a very sincere person also, and a very thoughtful soul.
Well, first of all, I'll tell you, because I don't want you to live in suspense, that it was the radiation from cell phone towers that killed Edgar, actually, it turns out. And so it ends up being this just like very weird, and particularly coming from Apple, it's a very, very weird tack that they've taken, but that is what happens. And
5G, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was wait, what was your question?
How it was to reinvent your character
Fun.
each
That's
other
fun.
character's eyes.
Yeah, it's fun to reinvent your character where you get to play a different shade of him every single time, rather than just coming in to do the same kind of shtick. It's like each episode peels back the onion skin, and you get to be a new version, and I like that.
Yeah.
It's like in seventh
And
grade when you're auditioning haircuts, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, maybe I'm the Vanilla Ice guy. Nope. Maybe I'm like a mullet man. Nope. You just keep trying and trying until eventually you lose your virginity.
and then you stick with it. So I guess that's what you had back then.
Yeah. And by the way, I didn't lose my virginity in seventh grade. Jesus. How dare you? Literally,
Well,
how dare you insinuate such a thing?
I don't know. We're weird in Sweden. The sun never sets. And you both get to spend a lot of time with Anik, the character. So I was wondering if everything is scripted that his character says, or if it's a lot of improvisation, because it feels improvised at times. But I was wondering if it actually is.
Sam was definitely both.
Definitely.
He's so great at, because he had a lot of monologues. There was a lot of
Yeah,
work in terms of narrative stuff that
Yeah,
was on
because
his
you also
shoulders
have a
and
story you
Zoe.
have to tell.
Right, and figuring
of
out the
course.
mystery and it being on his shoulders, that's a lot of work. And so he was meticulous with that. But then when it came down to
And then improvising
improv,
within that
could
very
go on forever.
specific story that you have to tell.
yeah,
It's amazing that he is able to kind of improvise
yeah.
as well within that constraint.
when the game is to give exposition and like sort of keep a story on track, but make it feel like
Yeah.
it's natural and real and like active and like you're just
You did that.
talking instead of, like,
You
telling.
did that in a good way. I must
He
add.
really
Thank
does.
you
It
very
is
much.
hard. Sam
Yeah.
makes really hard stuff look very easy.
Oh, thank you.
And you really are, you are the backbone of both seasons,
Oh, thank you very much.
on screen and off.
Yeah, my goodness.
Do you
But,
do you miss?
it's also like but it's like such an honor to get to like be the person who does that, like when you're like, oh, this is the shoe leather, but like the fact that that my character's entrusted, or I'm entrusted to then like sort of smooth that shoe leather and like sort of tell the story like and like be the way in is great. So like I'm trying to be conscious of that when doing it and like trying to do it as natural as possible, especially because like it's so important for this genre of show, because everybody needs to be on track and see what's happening, and every episode like you're explaining the case so that the audience needs to like know what's happening, but like natural, but they need to also like not realize that they're being just straight up told the circumstances. So I don't know. Does that answer the question?
I
think
believe
that-
so.
Okay.
Yeah, the bottom line is it's really fun watching him do he's such a technician, but makes it so skilled and makes it look also easy. But we're all getting this, we all have the sides of the day and are like, damn, Sam gotta, and then he just,
Yeah.
is pro.
The Fang episode might feel like it would be easy to do because of the found footage, but I kind of feel like there was a quite long scenes in that one. So was it tricky to shoot?
I think it was both. I think there are elements of it that is easier to shoot because they're shooting it on an iPhone. I think there are elements that were, I think, difficult to shoot, even in terms of like emotion and getting the right. The performance actually has to be correct, and also there are times I'd realize there are times you have to do a few things in one take. It's that there is a bit of almost like putting on a play, but for an iPhone kind of sensibility. And who would know better than that? Would like John Cho did Searching, that was shot completely, remotely. So there were challenges involved, and there were some scenes that John had actually helped me out on where I think there was a blocking thing, and I had to hold it myself on this one tricky shot. And John really helped me in the scene because he made sure I wasn't in the shot because he didn't want me to be in the frame.
I said
He told me he
to
didn't want me to
be
be in
fair-
the frame. He didn't want
be
to
fair,
here first.
My only
Lead it.
tip was stop drinking so much.
It's a good tip.
It's a good tip. Good
But I will
note.
say he had to be, sort of his own camera operator sometimes, and that does add another element to,
Did you have to do that in searching a little bit yourself? Had to
Did,
do.
I
did you
never
get
had to
paid as
hold
a
anything.
cinematographer
Oh
as
yeah,
well?
a little bit. Yeah, we had a cell phone stuff, and so it's all, when you're working, it's just another thing to do.
Yeah.
that complicates stuff.
Yeah, and John, you had the jazzy kind of vibes on Cowboy Bebop, but you had to learn to dance for this show. So how hard was that for you?
Yeah, I will say, it's sort of a very similar rigor on the body, martial arts or dancing. They're both really difficult, but really fun. And, martial arts I found much more intellectually engaging, and dancing was going to the other side and feeling, getting into finding the rhythm and stuff. But, this is the privilege of doing what we do is dipping our toes in unfamiliar waters.
I was winded watching him, and I was eating donuts. I just like a whole plate of snacks and desserts, and yeah.
Well, my character, Vivian, I'm Vivian playing Vivian, and yes, I mean, I can't really give too much on the storyline, but I felt like, my episode from the 80s, soap opera, and growing up in the 80s, of course, so I felt was very connected to my character in that episode per se. And then, from watching a lot of Jackie Chan, Michelle Yeoh, Maggie Cheung from the 80s, all the Hong Kong movies, and then to pull all these images together and make it really intensified, a dramatic version of it. I was so happy. I was deliriously happy, like a happy fish in the pond. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Happy fish. I always call myself a happy fish. I don't know why, but yes. Yeah.
On this show, you also had your own personal pet, Roxanne. Roxana. Sorry.
Roxana, that's right.
Yeah. So how was it working with a pet like that? I'm guessing it wasn't that hard, but.
Well, that was actually a precondition of my contract where I said you have to include my pet lizard in this show because we can't be separated for more than the length of a brief online interview. And they were like, we don't want that. It doesn't make sense. And I was like, well, then I'm walking. And they were like, okay, we'll make this weird concession. Yeah, on all the other shows I've worked on, she's always there. They just green screen her out, which is easy because of her natural shade. It's like not that.
I see. So that's the timer going down with my time with you now. That's the Roxana time.
Mercifully, yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I see. Well, I guess I need to let you rejoin with Roxana.
Yes.
But I really loved watching this season, and I'm sure the viewers will do that as well. So with the premiere.
And if they don't like it, you shut up, whoever you are listening and watching. If you didn't like it, don't tell a damn soul.
Preach.
Thank you for having me. Okay.